For this assignment, we were asked to read the book Wooden on Leadership, How to Create a Winning Organization by John Wooden. Even though Coach Wooden's leadership style is aimed towards basketball players, one can use these same principles in the workforce or even the medical field. There are a couple points that resonated with our group. Some were from his pyramid of success, and others were his rules to lead by. The 3 points from his pyramid that we all agreed upon were skill, confidence, and enthusiasm. With skill, as John put it, it is the heart of the pyramid. The best leaders are lifelong learners trying to perfect their craft by knowing their job inside and out and being able to execute quickly and correctly. We believe this represents all of us in the D&P program right now. By going back to school, we are showing that we are lifelong learners and want to continue to perfect our craft in nursing and in leadership. The second one is confidence. Being confident in your own ability without becoming arrogant. As a group, we believe there is a fine line between confidence and arrogance. A confident leader feels comfortable with their abilities, but knowing when to ask for help from your team, where an arrogant leader never seeks help from others or able to identify or even know when they are over their head. The final one is enthusiasm. Work without joy is drudgery, so believing and most importantly enjoying what you do. One should never start a workday with the first goal being waiting for the workday to end. We all have held jobs at one time in our lives where we may have felt this way. But for us as nurses, we do not consider coming to work as dull, but as a calling to help others that we approach with a passion. With his rules to lead by, the two that stood out were organizations succeed when they become more than the sum of their players. To us, this meant that a team is stronger than an individual. Relying on, and most importantly, believing in your team is what will help you achieve the goal faster and more efficiently than trying to do everything on your own. Character starts with little things. John describes this as being punctual to completing projects on a deadline, but it also could be something as small as how a manager talks to an employee. For us, this means setting an example in everything we do. How can a leader expect his team to do what is asked of them if the leader does not do the same? During my 4 years in the military, I got to witness horrible leadership and great inspiring leadership. The example I always keep in mind that I follow to this day is Captain Hansen. As a role model, she set the perfect example of how a leader should lead. Captain Hansen was our company commander, and she would never ask any of us to do what she would not. She led from the front, not from the rear. It was never go and do this, it was follow me and let's do it together. She would inspire us to perform our jobs, our duty, but not out of obligation, but out of respect. Captain Hansen always relied on her subordinates for their advice. She never dismissed anything that was brought across her desk, and in fact, she would do anything in her power to make it happen. Her enthusiasm for the military and whatever project we were working on was infectious. There were times I could tell we were being asked to do a no-frills assignment or a job such as setting up an emergency aid station in one night that we knew would be dismantled the next day. But she would remind us why we were doing it, and that the end result was not about us, but about the troops that may need us if the fighting should break out. I know it is cliche, but there truly is no I in team, and our success came as a result of Captain Hansen's leadership and our ability to work together as a cohesive unit.
As our group discussed more about overall leadership style, the question on the rubric asked about poor leadership. And unfortunately, my group members definitely have experienced this. One example that stood out was the role of a clinical manager who managed 10 nurses and nurse practitioners. The clinical manager's work style, leadership style, was a dictatorship. There was always tasks divvied out. There was always room for the clinical manager to give orders. However, never was open-minded or took suggestions themselves. Sometimes when things weren't done their way, emotional outbursts and talking down to staff members caused additional workplace low morale, workplace burnout, and increased anxiety within the team. When our group talked about how to improve leadership style, self-control really stood out. We gave the example prior of how the clinical director did not have control over their emotions, causing a breakdown in his overall leadership style and his team. Wooten's climb to success has this stop as one of the layers to the top of the pyramid, and we really feel that self-control has a big part of getting to the top of the pyramid. Utilizing lessons of the book in your DMP practice. Lessons on leadership was a whole chapter really in Wooten's book. He overall talked about lots of ways to be a leader, but one thing that stood out to our group is the 4-letter word love. Not necessarily using the word love to say to someone every single day, but how you show your love and compassion for your job and how that translates to you being a leader. The other thing that stood out to us is that he quoted, "A leader in sports, business, or any other field of endeavor should possess and provide the same qualities inherent in a good parent: character, consistency, dependability, accountability, knowledge, good judgment, selflessness, respect, courage, discipline, fairness, and structure." When you think about it, those are all things that a good parent exhibits. However, if you do those things as a leader, you should have good results as the leader in your group and the passion that you have for your particular job. The last thing we talked about as a group is DMP Essentials and how it correlates to the book. Essential 2 talks about organizational and system leadership for quality improvement and how this overall impacts health disparities and improves outcomes of patient care. In Chapter 12, Wooten talks about make greatness attainable by all. Each member of your team has a potential for personal greatness. The leader's job is to help them achieve that. And through our program, that's exactly what we're doing. We're developing our skills so the patients that we see and the teams that we develop can give great care to the patients.